Can you all hear? Okay. Well, hello everyone. We are super excited to be able to have this in-person town hall. I can't tell you just how exhausting it's been to be in front of Zooms interacting with constituents as we've done all of our town halls in the last year and a half virtually. And so the last few have been really rejuvenating to be in person and actually see the people that we represent and get that personal feeling as well. We are going to provide some quick updates on some of the things that we have been up to here locally in the district in Minnesota, and some of our work in Washington. And then we'll take some questions from you all as well. Before we begin this conversation tonight, I just wanted to reiterate why these town hall events are so important to me. Co-governance is something that we ran on, and it's one of the core values of our office, and it shapes the work that we do every single day. I believe that, that fundamentally, the success that we are able to have in Congress is based on the conversations we have with our constituents. We believe you all have the greatest ideas and the solutions to our persistent problems in this country. So some of the things that we have been able to do in Congress earlier this summer, we advanced $14.4 million in funding for 10 community projects that we submitted earlier in the spring. These 10 projects invest in the communities that were hit the hardest, both by the pandemic and the social unrest, by addressing joblessness, the food desert, housing insecurity and access to health care. The projects that we funded include rebuilding the Hennepin Healthcare Clinic on East Lake Street, skills training for clean energy careers in North Minneapolis, sprinkler updates for the Minnesota Public Housing Authority that helps address what happened in Cedar Riverside when we lost a lot of elders in one of the public housings burning down. Funding for the Minneapolis American Indian Center, new workforce training in South Minneapolis, food business incubator at Northside Economic Opportunity Network, new recreational building in North Commons Park, updates to Sapathany Community Center, Brooklyn Center Health Initiatives, and funding for the Wadag Commons apartment in Seward that is going to be hopefully finished, and it will be an apartment complex that will have the ability to incorporate families that are in need of 2, 3, 4-bedroom apartments to live in. These projects still need to go through the Senate process, and so we will continue to fight for those dollars to come back to the district and continue to encourage Senator Tina Smith and Amy Klobuchar in supporting the advancing of those 10 projects for Minnesota's 5th. Part of the spirit of co-governance is providing individual casework assistance to people and organizations in our district. I know some of you in the audience have already worked with our office on casework. This is one of the least known but most important services that our office provides to our constituents. When you are experiencing an issue with the federal government, my staff can submit an inquiry on your behalf to liaison with any federal agency. This is often for situations related to immigration delays, pending small business loans, child tax credit payments, stimulus payments, Social Security issues, which is outside of immigration, our top issue that we deal with, expediting passports, and so much more. If you have a current concern, or if you aren't sure that the issue could be helped by our office, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. If my office can't solve the problem directly, we will always do our best to connect with municipals that deal with that issue, or we can work with the state to be able to do that for you. Finally, I would like to highlight some of the things that we've been able to do since we've been home this past week. Last Friday, we were able to attend the official opening of 35W to 94 downtown to crosstown reconstruction project. After 4 years of dealing with closed roads and detours after detour, I'm happy to say that the project is finally open and completed. I remember being a baby legislator in the Minnesota House and voting on this project, so it's really good to now be a congresswoman and see this project finalized. I also was able to stop by at some open streets. One of them was the West Broadway, and it was really great to see all of the families, local businesses, and nonprofits that gathered around in community and shared time with them. Earlier today, we were able to do a couple of events related to some of the work that we are doing in regards to the reconciliation legislation that we are passing. I was able to do a roundtable with childcare providers and families with small children so that we can highlight the importance of investing in our childcare infrastructure. I don't know if many of you know, but I am one of the only member of our delegation that sits on the Education and Labor Committee, and it's been a priority of mine to make sure that we are investing in our children from birth to college graduation and afterwards. We recently did our piece in the reconciliation budget bill to mark up and put forth the bill that will inform childcare infrastructure. It was a long hearing. There were a lot of people that wanted to make childcare a means-tested investment. A lot of us believed that it is important for there to be universality in that investment, and so we were able to actually win that. And so the bill that we put forth that ultimately passed the committee says that no family in the United States will pay more than 7% of their income for childcare, making it affordable and accessible for every single family in our country. As many of you know, as a mom, I have prioritized a lot of my time in using my experience in giving birth to advocate for care and investment in our maternal health care infrastructure as well. I'm proud to be the founding member of the Maternal Health Caucus in Congress, and we have been able to introduce the Momnibus, which is a collection of 12 pieces of legislation that helps to address the maternal mortality rate in this country and address the disparities that exist within that. We have women of color, especially Black women, who are likely to die from childbirth and of complications with pregnancy at a rate of 4 times higher than their white counterparts. And that number is 2 or 3 times higher for Latino and indigenous women as well. And so today we were able to present those pieces of legislation and talk about how we can create a more inclusive system here in Minnesota at the 2021 Healthy Moms and Babies Summit. So that was really exciting to be part of that. And lastly, before we get to questions, I wanted to highlight the visit that I was able to do 2 weeks ago. Myself and a few of my colleagues in Congress were able to go up to Line 3, and we met with indigenous leaders to hear from them personally about the lack of tribal consent and the impact this pipeline is having on their communities and the environment. After just experiencing our hottest summer to date, the climate crisis is worsening daily. This pipeline will produce the dirtiest fossil fuel on the planet and will cross 211 bodies of water, including the Mississippi, and 1,000 acres of wetlands as well. This pipeline obviously threatens the health and safety of millions, especially our indigenous neighbors, which is why I continue to urge the Biden administration to pull the permit for Line 3 and continue to work with our governor and state leaders as well. And with that, we will love to take some questions from you and do a quick Q&A. My staff will come around with a mic and take your questions from you.